Unforgettable traits you gain from Stoic practice. Timeless wisdom for a stronger you. What if you could cultivate a personality so calm, so resilient, and so unforgettable that chaos no longer shook you, insults couldn't wound you, and success no longer intoxicated you? This is not fantasy. This is the promise of Stoic practice, an ancient philosophy that shapes character more powerfully than time, fortune, or even education. In this video, we'll dive deep into the rare, powerful, and unforgettable traits developed through Stoicism. Not just theory, but life-altering principles that ancient Stoics lived and died for. If you've ever wanted to become the kind of person who stands tall in a storm, this is your path. Let's begin. 1. Unbreakable emotional resilience. Stoicism doesn't eliminate suffering. It prepares you for it. Emotional resilience, the ability to face pain, loss, insult, or failure and remain grounded, is one of the most unforgettable traits cultivated by Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote daily reminders to himself. In one passage, he says, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is the core of Stoic resilience. We do not control what happens, but we control how we respond. The modern world encourages reactive emotion, outrage, victimhood, panic. But the Stoic trains themselves to pause, to breathe, to respond with reason, not rage. Resilience is built in the small moments, the missed bus, the critical comment, the long wait. These are your training grounds. Seneca, another great Stoic, practiced premeditatio malorum, imagining every possible setback, every loss, every failure, so that when they arrived, he was ready. When others break under pressure, the Stoic bends and returns stronger. That's what makes emotional resilience unforgettable. It radiates a calm power that others remember and respect. 2. Calm under chaos. Another unforgettable trait Stoicism cultivates is calm. Not just ordinary calm, but calm in the heart of chaos. In a world that runs on urgency, noise, and fear, someone who remains composed is like a lighthouse in a storm. Epictetus, a former slave-turned-philosopher, said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things." The Stoic understands that external events are neutral. Only our interpretation makes them good or bad. So when life spirals, when deadlines close in, relationships fall apart, or uncertainty clouds the future, the Stoic doesn't flinch. They return to what they can control: their thoughts, their effort, their presence. They practice what the Stoics called ataraxia, tranquility of the soul. This isn't apathy, it's mastery. The world will always be full of noise, but the Stoic chooses inner silence. That calmness, that stillness, becomes a magnetic force, unforgettable to anyone caught in the storm. 3. Unshakable self-discipline. Few things in life are as powerful as discipline, and few cultivate it as ruthlessly as a Stoic. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about alignment. The Stoic aligns their actions with their values, not their moods. They wake early not because it's easy, but because it's right. They say no to distraction, indulgence, and laziness, not out of fear, but out of strength. Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The Stoic becomes unforgettable because they don't flinch in front of temptation. They hold their ground. They delay gratification. They show up when others quit. This self-discipline breeds respect and results. In a society that worships convenience, a disciplined person stands out like a monument of strength. They don't just dream, they act. They don't chase comfort, they pursue character. And that makes them unforgettable. 4. Radical self-responsibility. Blame is easy, responsibility is rare, and that's why it's unforgettable. A Stoic does not wait for others to change. They change themselves. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." This is radical self-responsibility, the refusal to play victim, the courage to own your life. The Stoic doesn't complain, they act. They don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "What can I do about it?" This mindset is rare. Most people outsource their problems to politicians, to partners, to luck. But the Stoic takes full ownership. They understand that their life is their responsibility, not their parents', not society's, not fate's. This self-leadership makes them unforgettable. They don't control the world, but they command themselves. And in doing so, they become a force to be reckoned with. 5. Mastery over ego. The Stoic doesn't chase praise, likes, or applause. They chase truth, humility, and virtue. In a world obsessed with image, the Stoic masters the ego. Epictetus warned, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." The ego blinds. It resists correction. It craves validation. But the Stoic practices Socratic ignorance, the wisdom of knowing how little we truly understand. They don't inflate themselves after praise. They don't crumble under criticism. Their self-worth is internal, not outsourced to public opinion. This quiet confidence is unforgettable. It's the confidence of someone who needs no stage, no spotlight, no trophy. They do what's right, even when no one is watching. 6. Enduring humility. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. The Stoic knows their limits, their mortality, their flaws. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, reminded himself daily, "Soon you will have forgotten all things, and all things will have forgotten you." That's not despair, that's clarity. Humility grounds the Stoic. It makes them teachable, open, and real. They don't pretend to know everything. They don't dominate conversations. They listen, learn, reflect. And in doing so, they earn trust. The humble Stoic is unforgettable not because they shout, but because they don't need to. Their presence speaks for itself. 7. Unattached clarity. Attachment is the root of suffering. The Stoic knows this and practices detachment. Not from love or meaning, but from outcomes. They give their best and release the result. They remind themselves, like Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." This clarity brings peace. They're not crushed when things don't go their way. They adapt, adjust, continue. They love, but accept loss. They try, but let go of control. They serve, but don't obsess over recognition. This freedom from outcome makes their actions powerful. They don't need to win, they just need to do what's right. This detachment, this clarity, gives them a powerful presence, steady, sharp, and unforgettable. 8. Courage through acceptance. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the face of fear. The Stoic cultivates a unique kind of courage, one grounded in radical acceptance. They accept pain, death, change, and injustice, not as good, but as real. They don't fight reality, they face it. Marcus Aurelius said, "You may leave this life today. Let that determine what you do and say and think." The Stoic remembers death, memento mori, not to become dark, but to become bold. Knowing time is short, they speak up, show up, let go. They walk through fear with eyes wide open. This courage, quiet, firm, accepting, leaves a lasting impression. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's unforgettable. 9. Wisdom-fueled silence. The Stoic doesn't talk to impress, they speak to serve. They understand that wisdom is not in many words, but in the right ones. Epictetus taught, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The Stoic listens deeply. They observe, reflect, and only then speak. Their words carry weight because they're not wasted. They don't argue with fools. They don't react to every insult. They know silence is often more powerful than speech. In a noisy world, this kind of silence is rare and unforgettable. 10. Lasting integrity. Integrity is doing what's right, even when it costs you. The Stoic values character over comfort, principle over popularity. They don't bend to trend, pressure, or fear. They live with virtus, the Roman ideal of moral excellence. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This simplicity becomes strength. You remember a Stoic not because they're flashy, but because they're consistent. They are who they say they are, every time. And in today's world, that is unforgettable. Conclusion: become unforgettable. The Stoic doesn't chase fame, they build character. They don't scream to be noticed, they live in a way that cannot be ignored. Through resilience, calm, discipline, responsibility, humility, and courage, they cultivate traits that leave a mark not just on others, but on history. You don't need titles or wealth to be powerful. You just need principles and the will to live by them. So ask yourself, which of these traits will you cultivate? Which will define you? The world doesn't need more noise. It needs people of depth, people who are unforgettable.